Live.
Khan, we live.
Yep.
All right, Khan, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, double honor to the elder apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this word. Peace and blessings to all you sincere Akim and the hopeful elect off the four corners of the earth, pushing this gospel in sincerity and in truth, all right, defending the gospel. All right. You know, this is just gonna be a another live show, and we damn sure gonna touch on this damn devil.
Yep.
Jesus is the word. All right, he finally grew the balls and the courage to come down to the main camp in Dallas,
right,
and deal with those brothers. And those brothers did a beautiful, impeccable job handling those grape juice drinkers, man.
Right.
You know, like through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that we got to make this clear, man. As long as the spirit of the Lord is on us, you're not going to prevail.
Yeah, to those other guys.
Yeah. No, you Christians, you're not going to prevail, man.
Spirit's not dealing with you, man.
The spirit is totally not dealing with you. Them brothers, they had you out there. You was looking real foolish, man. You got schooled out there.
Yeah.
It was a point in time where y'all were quiet. All y'all could do was stand there with your Bibles open
and learn.
And then when it came back to you, you wanted to play semantics.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Talk about what about Apostle Tahar and this and that. You know, you kept on diverting. You wouldn't answer questions. Couldn't bring out scriptures. All right. But we knew it was going to go this way when you came against when we told you to come against those come in and deal with those brothers. We knew it was going to go that way, man. All right. You got a quick scripture?
Yep.
But you know, before we, basically in this letter, we're gonna try to tackle the prophecy in Daniel speaking about the abomination and desolation. Mm-hmm. Because all you brothers, y'all witnessed it, y'all saw the video, and the brother Ariala, it was beautiful how he took his ass in his words, man. Yep. All right, basically he set his ass up and laid that snare for his ass, and he ended up looking like a damn idiot, man.
Let me be clear about this.
Yeah.
Put your foot all the way. Put your foot ankle deep in your mouth.
God.
That's what happened.
The video was up, man. By the way, the video was up. That's why we're making a response in our live stream now.
Yeah.
All right. You did not know that breakdown.
Yeah.
Okay.
Way off.
You were way off. You were wrong. Totally wrong.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But go ahead and get your scripture.
We get into it. 2 Corinthians 11. I'm gonna start at verse 6. It says, "But though I be rude in speech," because they brought that up about the brothers, about the way the brothers speak, right? The Great Millstone speaks. It says, "Yet not in knowledge." But we have been thoroughly made manifest among you in all things. We have them brothers fully manifested all the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of these scriptures, of all your questions tonight. They did that.
Yep.
It was clear, and only somebody that don't get it, that was lost in the sauce, wouldn't get it. But they thoroughly made manifest everything that you asked. And understood everything. The water, Ba'ashem Kodash Rakah, man. Through the apostle elders and Great Millstone, man. All the way on down. Because they have thoroughly made us able to break this Bible down beautifully, man. The water for the hard work and the test, and man, the example, everything. They are feeding the flock. That's the difference. That's all I want to make a point about that.
Come on, man. So we're gonna jump right into it. Lord willing, we ain't gonna make this too long.
Yep.
Unless the spirit, it's kind of late, but in case the spirit, allows, we're gonna touch on that, because this dude, all right, he really had no clue what he was getting himself into, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because the brother, he wanted to make it clear. All right, so this is your doctrine, right? You stand on that, right?
Yep.
So you're saying that the prophecy in Daniel is talking about the end times, and it was going to be a 3-year period that that they were going to build the temple physically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you said that the Antichrist was going to prevent them, right?
Yep, the one Antichrist.
Right, and there's going to be one guy
Yeah.
that was going to stop the whole process of the building of the temple. You know, and Shalom, Elder Shalom, Shalom. Yeah, man. You know, so hey, the title says Jesus is the Word. You fucked up, man.
We need that picture of Bill Duke. You know
you fucked up. You know that, don't you?
That for you.
Yeah.
You're done, man. You're done.
Finished, man. All right. So get that in Daniel real quick, man. Daniel 8.
Yeah, I got it. Is you already on it? All right, I get it right now. The book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 13.
And the reason why a lot of you Christians can't understand that prophecy is because not only do you not deal with history, but you exclude the other books of the Bible that was taken out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you in order for you to understand this particular prophecy, you got to go into other books.
Yeah.
And this is something that you Christians don't do. Plus, you Christians don't like dealing with prophecy. Nope. And it proved it tonight that y'all don't like dealing with prophecy, man.
Mm-hmm. Could you read that again? Brother, I have to read it 5 times for you.
Yeah.
It's not going to click.
Yeah.
So you start spewing BS out there.
Yep.
It's messing up. Maybe that's just you. Yeah. Is the stream good? I can see a few viewers in here. We just wasn't going to go smooth. So I'll check it in a minute. But want me to go straight to the point of the verse, right? Mm-hmm. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 13. It says, then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spake, how long shall the vision concerning this daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation to give both the sanctuary and the host be trodden underfoot?
Yeah, and the sanctuary is what? The temple, right?
Yep.
So, you know, this is the prophecy. Go ahead.
It says, and he said unto me, until 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed.
Then shall the sanctuary be cleansed, right? This jackass, Jesus is the Word, he's trying to say that this is talking about an end time prophecy and the Antichrist is going to stop it. All right. And what he doesn't understand is that the temple in this day and age is not talking about a physical temple.
Right. And he made him put his foot, the brother Ariella made him put his foot all the way in his mouth. Let me make sure you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
But this particular sanctuary was talking about the temple that the Greeks came in and basically made it desolate.
Yep.
They came in and made it profane.
Yep.
Okay. They set up their own altars, which we're gonna go into that. You go into First Maccabees, the 1st chapter.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get into the history, man. This is how you will understand what Daniel was prophesying about. Because during this time, Daniel, all right, he was prophesying during the period of the transitional time between the Babylonians going down, and then you had the Persians and the Medes, you know, coming into power. But he was prophesying about what was going to happen 400 years later when the Greeks came into power, man.
Yep. That's
what he was talking about.
If I could tie this in, my sword has, right here in the 8th chapter, it's talking about the ram, which was the Persians and the Medes. Then it goes into the he-goat, which was Alexander the Great. Yep. And then the little horn, which was Antiochus or Antiochus Epiphanes.
That's it.
And then it goes into the length of the vision. Like, that's still kind of tying it all into that event. Not that that's the only time it was talking about, which we're going to get into, but it was talking about that time as well.
Go ahead.
That was it on that. Unless you want me to read further down. And then
go back to the prophecy in Daniel.
Okay.
Daniel 8, and then get First Maccabees, the 1st chapter.
Right. Keep reading.
Yeah, read that last verse again.
Oh, that's 14.
14, yeah.
Yeah. Daniel 8:14. It says, and he said unto me, until 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed.
Then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. So it's going to be a point in time after these devils trot in our sanctuary, our temple, that it was going to be made cleansed. Meaning it was going to be rededicated, so to speak. All right. So let's go into the history real quick. Hey, Jesus the Word, man. You should have never.
Right.
You should have never stepped into them waters, man. All right. You Christians don't have it. You don't have the testimony of Yahweh Shai, man. All right. You can't deal with prophecy. The Spirit of the Lord is not with you, devils, man.
Right.
All right.
And but you saw what he said. He said basically, long as it's not us. You just don't want the so-called Negro Latinos and Native Americans to be the real Israelites.
Yep.
That's basically what he admitted at the end.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
This brother, I think, man, had the verse you wanted. I'm looking.
Yeah, First Maccabees 1 and start at 41.
This First Maccabees 1 and 41 says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should lead his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
And this is because the brothers was going into the subject of the circumcision and the uncircumcision. By the decree of Antiochus Epiphanes, he made it to where you had to break the law. If you was an Israelite trying to keep the laws, you were going off according to his decree, and you would get put to death if he caught you keeping the law. So that's what made our people uncircumcised. That's why you have the uncircumcision later on in the New Testament, man.
It's Psalms 106 and 35. It says, but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works, and they served their idols which were a snare unto them. This Psalms 106 and 35. It says, but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works.
Yep.
And they served their idols.
Because he made sure that happened, because he said with one consent, if you read up in the book of Maccabees, it said that he wanted to have one religion for everybody. And certain Jews or Israelites agreed to that. You know, and then that began the pollution and the dilution of our statutes, laws, and commandments, and our heritage among our people.
Yep.
You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
20 verse.
36 too. It says, and they served their idols which were a snare unto them. And then it's going into the sacrifice of Israel getting into their God.
Yeah, and in Israel, we always had a history of everywhere the Lord scattered us, we would worship, we would take on their customs and worship their idols, man. So it was no different here when we got conquered by the Greeks, the Hellenists, man.
Yep.
These Edomites, they wanted us to do after what they do.
Yep.
Just like here in America, you gotta live according to Esau's way of living, man, to prosper here, man. You know,
if we could kind of jump around a little bit, bro, I'm seeing them. Could you start at verse 13? Then we're gonna jump to 15.
First Maccabees 1 and 13. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
Jump down. No, keep going. Just keep going.
Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem, according to the customs of the heathen.
We wasn't supposed to do that because that was a heathen custom in our city. Keep going.
And that was what you call the gym.
Yep.
The gymnos.
Yep.
The gymnasium. That go back to the Greeks. Naked? Yeah, it means naked. Yeah.
Yep.
You know?
And that's why even today they have naked. When you go to the gym, it's all tight clothing and men with little tank tops, and it's a place of naked worship, man.
Yep.
Well,
it says, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem, according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant.
So now we're becoming uncircumcised away from so when you go into the Hellenists back in the New Testament, so to speak, this is the process that began to happen in those times. That we're looking at some of these Israelites back in the time of the Maccabees, fast forward into the time of the Romans. This is them same people that through generations had fallen away, but they were still Israelites. Yes. Their forefathers had fallen, stopped following the ordinances of Israel and started following the ordinances of the Greeks. So when it came to the Roman time, you know what I'm saying? They were still Israelites according to the flesh, but they wasn't following the Israelite customs anymore.
Yeah, this is why you will read about how Timothy's father was a Greek.
Right.
All right, he fell into that, man. All right, that's the reason why you had men in the New Testament that were considered Greeks, because at this time, all right, they forsook, you know, the covenant, and they started to follow after the manner of the heathen, which was the Greeks at the time.
Kind much like us in America. Before Yahweh Shah woke us up to know that we was Israelites, we was calling ourselves African American and regular Americans.
Yeah, there's even these Greek fraternities that Jake gets into, still tying them back into that spirit of the Greeks.
Yep.
You know, but you know, 15.
And this is why when you read Ephesians, the 2nd chapter, it said that we were strangers from
the Commonwealth,
from the Commonwealth of Israel, and that you know, we were without the promise. You know, we were strange to the covenant.
Yep.
You know,
we stopped keeping the
because
covenant.
we fell away. We were led away, carried onto dumb idols, man.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yes.
That was it, right?
No, finish 15, then jump to 20.
It says, and made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant.
And forsook the holy covenant. And I mean, they went away from doing statutes, laws, and commandments that we agreed to do, you know, and that's what kept pulling us further away from Yahweh, you know. Go ahead.
And forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief.
I'll jump down to 20.
This is 20. And after that, Antiochus had smitten Egypt. He returned again in the 143rd year and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude. And
he literally brought an army in to like martial law, damn near, against our people. Keep going.
And after that, Antiochus had smitten Egypt. He returned again in the 143rd year and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude and entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar.
Now this is a physical sanctuary. At this now, if you understand the process of this, you understand why it became a spiritual sanctuary or temple versus a physical temple, because we kept getting our physical temple destroyed. They knew that our power was flowed through the physical temple. That's why it became a spiritual temple, because now the heathen can't touch it. Like Matthew 6, lay your treasure up in heaven, not on earth. The spirit is in our temple, is in heaven, man. It's not on earth where moth nor rust do corrupt, or thieves break through and steal. Because time after time the heathen kept coming through and destroying us.
Yep.
So it's like we're not going to allow them to do that no more. We're going to make it spiritual. That's what was a beautiful decree from the top, man, from Yahweh Bashim Yahshua all the way down. Go ahead, bro.
And entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light and all the vessels thereof.
These are things that we kept as part of our customs. That we for our worship.
Temple.
Right, we actually had those things in the temple. Go ahead, bro.
And the table of the showbread and the pouring vessels and the vials and the censers of gold and the veil and the crowns and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. He took also the silver and the gold and the precious vessels. Also he took the hidden treasures which he found. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre and spoken very proudly.
Yep, great massacre. Read 25.
This 25. Therefore, there was a great mourning in Israel, every place where they were.
26.
So that the princes and elders mourned, the virgins and young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women was changed.
Destroyed our people. He destroyed our people by taking us away from the Lord, literally taking the temple away from us with a great massacre and putting a lot of destruction upon us, right? Now we can jump to where you want it, back to where you want it, bro.
42.
Yep.
This First Maccabees 1:42. And everyone should leave his laws. 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
You read Salah, you read 39? Read 39.
This 39. Her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness.
How about the sanctuary? Laid waste like a wilderness, desolate. You know, like the wilderness is desolate like that. Go ahead.
Her feasts were turned into mourning. Her Sabbaths into reproach.
Yep.
Her honor into contempt.
Don't want to keep those customs no more, to where it's being taken from us. The things that made us strong as a people with Yahweh Bashim Shai is now becoming a what's the word, like a blemish to us. Like it's not the Salaki, for lack of a better word. I can't think of the word that best fits it, but it's not something that was crystal clear, making it better for us. It's now something like, dang, I don't really want to, because they're gonna try to come in and kill us if we try to keep this. Now it's a negative thing from the positive that it was once. Now it's a negative thing unto our people. Go ahead, bro.
And everyone, go back to the 43 or go back.
Just read down.
Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. Skip 40. This 40. As had been her glory, so was her dishonor.
Right. So it was once our glory to keep these customs. Now it's our dishonor and what does it say?
Dishonor increased.
Now our dishonor increased. This is how he went in and destroyed us away. He began that major process of taking us away from the Most High, which was a prophecy in Hosea that he would turn his back and this would happen to us. But it goes back to Daniel, and it's all been those two prophecies coming together, being fulfilled. Go ahead, bro.
And her excellency was turned into mourning.
Mm-hmm.
Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
Yep.
Yea, many also of the Israelites.
Okay, so when it says that we should all be one people, that means everybody Hellenized.
Yep.
Everybody.
Yep.
All right.
You're gonna follow out.
Everybody under our reign, you're gonna follow us and speak Greek.
Yep.
Okay. And Esau's doing that now. The brother just said it. Esau's trying to do it again with his new world order. Everybody won. Full control, man. That's how you know this is the same damn devil, man.
That's right.
Same people
doing the same thing. This dude is not creative, man. He's using the same old tactics.
Yep. Keep going, bro.
Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
So they became Greeks.
Yep.
So that's why you go in the New Testament and you see men and women with Greek names. You had the Grecians in the temple.
Yep.
Timothy's father was a Greek.
There's no difference between Jew.
There's no difference between a Jew nor a Greek, because at the time everybody was made to be a Hellen, man.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, bro.
Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath.
Oh, stop there. 1 Corinthians 12, real quick. See, this is a missing link in Christianity, because they don't believe the Apocrypha is a validated book. It's an inspired book. Well, how else do you understand why they were living under the Roman Empire with Greek names? That Greek influence was still heavy, even though they were under the Romans. All right? You ain't going to be able to understand that without the Apocrypha, man.
Yep. Or the Holy Spirit.
Come.
Verse 2, right?
Yeah.
1 Corinthians 12, verse 2, it says, you know that you were Gentiles carried away unto these dumb idols, even as you were led.
That you were Gentiles, meaning it was a point in time where you were formerly being Gentiles because you were worshiping idols. Yep. You were doing what the heathens do.
This was part of that process.
And this was part of that process.
Yep.
Because they were forcibly making our people worship their idols. That's what was happening.
You're exactly right, Conwell. Because it's not only does history repeat itself, but it worked the last time. And it had been working on this time after time.
Yep.
But now it's not going to work this time.
Yep.
That's what they don't know. That's the part of the prophecy that they don't know, that it's not going to work this time.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
That was it on mine. So you go back.
Go back.
It's 44.
43.
43. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols.
They were being led away, carried into them dumb idols. Go ahead.
And profaned the Sabbath.
Profane the Sabbath. Go ahead.
For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings.
Now imagine, let's say 200, 300 years before the time of Paul and them on the scene, right? Well, were those same people 200-300 years before that, or maybe even more, where they were threatened by the time 200-300 years passed? You don't have to threaten them; they just do it. The same with us, and you see us, Jakes coming out of slavery. They don't have to tell us what to and what not to do. We're off the chain now. We ain't trying to run off the plantation. We want to stay on the plantation, you know, and work. We like being in captivity at this point. We like Esau ruling over us at this point, you know. So the same thing happened then. You know, when you fast forward from the history of the Greeks into the Romans, you don't have to tell them to follow the customs of the Greeks because they're already followed. That's just a tradition that they do now.
Yeah, because there was you know, they was beaten.
They were forced before,
they were forced.
And now it's just part of who they are.
You're born into it, man. You know.
Hey, you beat a dog enough, man, he gonna learn to not do something. You pop a kid, say don't touch that, they gonna learn to not touch that. Well, that's what happened. Well, you don't have to stand over them and pop them no more. They know not to touch it now. Well, that's what was happening to us.
And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbath.
And when you go into our laws, all of these things that they're taking away was in our laws to keep. We were supposed to keep all these things. It's back in Leviticus, man. You can go back and read about it. And even in the history, you saw our priests doing these things.
Yeah, and if I might say this, a lot of these things that that devil Antiochus Epiphanes was having them do, breaking these laws. Some of them laws, if you was to break them, you were to be casted away from the congregation.
Yep.
You had to be casted out from Israel. So a lot of these things were being done, and the Jews that still were keeping the law, they looked down upon the Israelites that consented to the king.
Yep.
Some of them, you know, they stood stiffly and they died keeping the laws. They wasn't finna bow down to this devil.
But a nation divided against itself cannot stand. So this was a divide happening between them. But then you see the ones that were standing righteously, when you go deeper down in the chapter, they were getting killed. So the weaklings were prevailing back in that day.
Yeah, and then, you know, we reading on, but further down, that's when you start to see men rise up. Where the Lord, it was, you know, prophesied that Judas Maccabee and the Maccabees brothers was gonna, you know, the Lord's gonna raise them up and restore everything, man.
That's right.
You know, but you still had a lot of sellout priests and stuff like that were making deals with these devils, man. You know, we can never get things through as a nation, because you always gonna have sellout niggas that if we can't beat them, let's join them spirit, man. That's why we could never prosper as a nation, because it's always niggas that's always fighting for the enemy. Just like that clown that came up with Jesus the word against them brothers tonight, man. K-Dub, you know, that damn coon, man.
Baba Kushal, let me read this one. You want to say something? Just want to read this, verse 63. Wherefore they chose rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died.
Didn't Eleazar do that?
Yeah. Now, they died with honor, man.
There was some that still died with honor.
Yeah.
You know?
But a lot of them, they was like, nah, I don't want to die. I'll be a Greek. You know? So come on, bro, you can go back. Come.
This is 46.
Read to 48. Okay. Unless the brother wants more.
And pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts.
So they started even sacrificing swine on the altar, man. Total abominations. You know, this is what this devil was doing with our temple.
Yep.
All right. Keep going up.
That they should also leave their children.
Hey, but you Christians, y'all teach that that's cool. You can eat swine. There was nothing wrong with him sacrificing on the temple, right? Sacrificing swine's flesh, right? Because now it's cleansed through the blood of Yahushua now, right?
Yep. But we're gonna have, like the brother Elder Yasharama brought up, but we're gonna keep it perfectly, the Old Testament law perfectly in the kingdom, even though we can go off now. That don't make no damn sense, man.
Right. Go ahead, bro.
That they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation.
Yep.
To the end,
making us Hellenists, man, like the heathen, making us like the heathen.
Yep.
Yeah.
To the end, they might.
And why do you think Apostle Paul said, touch not, was that no, touch no unclean thing, and I will receive you.
Yeah.
You know, as long as our people were dwelling in the custom and the traditions of the Greeks, they were always going to be profane and unclean. All right. This is why. Okay, go ahead.
To the end, they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die.
Yep.
Keep going, right?
Yep.
In the selfsame manner wrote he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city.
The same setup is happening today. Right?
To many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, every one that forsook the law, and so they committed evils in the land, and drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for succor.
Cool.
Which means help.
Yep.
Yep.
Now the 15th day of the month, Caslev,
yep.
In the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar, and builded idol altars throughout the city of Judah on every side.
So this is fulfillment of the prophecy in Daniel. Okay, they made the sanctuary of the Lord, man. They made it abominable, man. It became desolate. He set up idols, and you know, and when you read further on, this devil even had orgies in the temple, man.
Yeah.
He had temple harlots in the temple. It was just, they turned our temple into a straight up abominable nightclub, man.
And that's why when Yahweh Shai came on the scene, saw how in his time saw the temple was just not taken seriously. What did he do? He started whipping them. He was pissed but that all stemmed from what the Greeks had pushed back in this time.
Yeah, just doing whatever in the Lord's holy place.
Not keeping it holy or separate. What the word holy means, you know?
And like you said, the Lord he kept getting tired of it. Like, y'all, you know, this, you can't do this no more, man. I'm about to change what the temple is, man. You know? So that's why the temple now is not a temple made with hands.
That's right.
All right. And you see why. Yeah, go ahead.
Because Jake was defiling that whole process, man. The whole sacrificial at the temple, because you have to go to the temple to the priest and have them cleanse you for your sins, right? Or atone for your sins. Well, that whole avenue was being defiled, man. You know, and misused and abused, right? So the Lord got rid of that, man.
Yeah.
Right.
And burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found,
the Bible, it was the Old Testament back then. Go ahead.
They burnt them with fire. And wheresoever was found with any the book of the testament, or if any consented to the law, the king's commandment was that they should be put to death.
All right, so that's what happened, man. All right, it was they either follow us and be a damn faggot Greek, eat swine, and you know, do all manner of wickedness and lewdness, or you could try to keep them laws, and I'm gonna just put you to death.
Yep.
You know. So that was what was going on, man. Okay. Now, when you read further on, you know, later, this is when the Lord rose up, you know, the Maccabees brothers.
Right.
Okay, and they went to war with this devil. All right, defeated their army, and the Lord allowed it for us to you know, rededicate the temple, and that's why we keep the feast of dedication now.
Yep, I was just gonna bring that up.
Because why? Because the tabernacle got cleansed. That's the fulfillment, man. When you go back to Daniel, it said that the tabernacle will be cleansed after a certain after that 2300 days, right? So go to First Maccabees, the 4th chapter. First Maccabees 4, and
which if y'all see on this Jewish calendar is Hanukkah now. You know.
Start at chapter 4 and start around.
That's the spirit that's coming out right now.
40. Start like around 30. 35. Started
this First Maccabees 4 and 35. Now when Lysias, now when Lysias saw his army put to flight, and the manliness of Judah's soldiers, and how they were ready either to live or to die valiantly, he went into Antiochia and gathered together a company of strangers, and having made his army greater than it was, he purposed to come again into Judea. Then said Judas and his brethren, behold, our enemies are discomfited. Let us go up to cleanse and dedicate the sanctuary.
Let us go and cleanse the temple. Let us cast out all those idols. All right. Let's all that swine, all the abomination that they tried to put on the altar. Let's get rid of all that shit, man. Let's make our Father's temple right again.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Upon this, all the hosts assembled themselves together and went up into Mount Zion. And when they saw the sanctuary desolate and the altar profaned, and the gates burned up, and shrubs growing in the courts as in a forest, or in one of the mountains, yea, and the priest's chambers pulled down, they rent their clothes and made great lamentation.
Because they saw how destroyed our temple was.
And they cast ashes upon their heads, and fell down flat to the ground upon their faces, and blew an alarm with the trumpets, and cried toward heaven. Then Judas appointed certain men to fight against those that were in the fortress, until he had cleansed the sanctuary. So he chose priests of blameless conversation, such as had pleasure in the law, who cleansed the sanctuary and bear out the defiled
like the elect. Because that's what we're doing now. We're cleansing the sanctuary. We're cleansing. I'm just tying this in spiritually to today. We're cleansing Israel right now, the temple, which is like the brother's been posting on here a few times. I've seen it. 1 Corinthians, the 3rd chapter. You know, because the temple's within us, but we're doing that to Jake. That's why Jake is rising up. You know, that's the same.
Also going to Acts 7 and 48, where it says, "Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made in hands."
Right, it's tied into that, but it's in our physical, spiritual temple, which is in our bodies, right? Okay, I lost my train of thought. Well, go ahead.
This is First Maccabees 4 and 43, who cleansed the sanctuary and bare out the defiled stones into an unclean place. And when as they consulted what to do with the altar of burnt offerings, which was profane, they thought it be best to pull it down, lest it should be reproached to them, because the heathen had defiled it. Wherefore they pulled it down, and laid up the stones in the mountain of the temple in a convenient place, until there should come a prophet to show what should be done with them. Then they took whole stones according to the law, and built a new altar according to the former. And made up the sanctuary and the things that were within the temple, and hallowed the courts. They made also new holy vessels, and into the temple they brought the candlestick, and the altar of burnt offerings, and of incense, and the table. And upon the altar they burned incense, and the lamps that were upon the candlestick they lighted, that they may give light in the temple. Furthermore, they set the loaves upon the table, and spread out the veils, and finished all the works which they had begun to make. Now on the 25th day of the 9th month, which is called the month Casliu, in the 148th year, they rose up betimes in the morning, and offered sacrifice according to the law upon the new altar of burnt offerings which they had made.
Okay, notice that's 3 years later.
Yeah.
Because if you go back to the
It was
first,
140.
the 145th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so.
In the 145th year, in the month Caslu, that was basically when they set up the abomination of desolation of the altar.
Yep.
In the 148th year, they rose up in the morning and offered sacrifice according to the law. So this was a three-year period.
Yep. And that's why I was all torn. The temple was torn down and overgrown at that point.
Yep.
There's been so much time that passed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is what it's talking about. Jesus is the word. This is what it's really talking about. That fulfilled that prophecy back then. And Daniel was fulfilled in this time. So you way off on where the accuracy of what you thought it was talking about. But we can keep going. So you want to jump in?
Real quick, get John 10:22, because now this gives you the understanding of why the Lord attended the Feast of Dedication.
Right.
Okay. John 10:22.
John chapter 10 verse 22 says,
and you can't get around this, man. Now you gotta acknowledge that the Apocrypha is part of the Bible.
Yep.
All right.
It says John chapter 10 verse St. John chapter 10 verse 22, and it was at Jerusalem the feast of the dedication, and it was winter.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
So our Lord actually kept that feast.
Yep.
Commemorating the rededication of the temple, because it was once it was made desolate by the heathen.
Yep.
Now, when Yahushua was prophesying in Matthew the 24th chapter,
right,
he talked about the abomination of desolation,
yep,
but he was specifically talking about what was going to happen to the temple in 70 AD that mirrored what was going down during that period, man.
I get it, bro.
All right.
Matthew chapter 24, I think it's like 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matthew chapter 24, verse 15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, standeth in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. Woe be unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. Pray that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be much tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor even shall be.
And that's twofold.
Yeah.
Because that tribulation was gonna come down on Judah at during 70 AD. But also we're finna go into that time now.
Now let's go back to the Maccabees, Casselu, right? That had to have been the winter time, because that's when this feast was first created. The Feast of Dedication, which became the Feast of Dedication, which is in the winter time. So it happened then, and it came up to 70 AD. And it was going to happen, and it's going to happen, like you said, keep perpetuating forward. Can I get that one out of here? Then we could hit that.
Now, and then you gotta, this is where you gotta have understanding. When Yahushua was warning them that basically it was gonna be no stone left. It was gonna leave not one stone or whatnot. It was talking about the destruction of the temple. But you remember when Yahushua said, "But in 3 days I'm gonna raise it up." They didn't understand. He went over their heads, man. They didn't understand what he was talking about. Okay. Huh?
John 2.
Yeah, John the 2nd chapter.
Bring it up.
You can get it real quick.
This is John 2 and 19. It says, Yahushua answered and said unto them, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up.
destroy this temple, and then in 3 days I will raise it up. Now, he was talking about his body,
yeah.
but it was a metaphor, man.
Yeah.
Okay. He was talking about his temple he was gonna raise up, in 3 days, right? But I was talking about the actual body of Yahushua, which is the church.
Yep.
And the church is who? His men.
Right.
The elect. That's the church that he's going to raise up.
Yep.
Okay. Didn't it say in Revelation 11, 3 days and a half,
yeah.
my spirit shall enter into them and they shall live again?
Yep. Which ties back into Ezekiel the 37th chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Which proves it's
also
prophecy on that level.
Amos the 9th chapter, man.
Yep.
He's restoring, he's repairing the breach, man.
That's right.
All right, he's bringing back the tabernacle of David that was ruined.
Yep.
Okay.
Because our people, if you can't look at you so-called Negro Latinos or Native American, you jakes out there, the real Israelites, we're ruined, man, as a people. You look at crackheads walking around, man, that's ruined. Niggas with skinny jeans and blonde hair and all kinds of shit hanging off their ass. They ain't ruined. Women with titties hanging, all just out of shape, bad bodies. Our people are ruined and don't know which way is up. Can't speak kindly to their own people. Nigga rather give Esau a pass in the hood. The hardest men of our people, right? Give the damn devil a pass in your neighborhood, but let one of your brothers cut through there. You gonna sweat him and try to kill that dude, man? That's destroyed.
Yep.
Yeah,
let me get this in Isaiah real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 58, verse 12. It says, and they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places.
Mm-hmm.
All right, like we just talking about rebuilding the temple, but what temple is this talking about? Is it talking about a physical temple over there in Jerusalem? The temple over there is what Herod and them reconstructed, man. And then you got that damn Dome of the Rock, which is a goddamn Muslim mosque over there, man.
Yep. In the middle of our holy land.
So the temple of the Lord is not over there.
Right.
All right. The temple is the men that you see before you out there giving their bodies as living sacrifices for Yahweh Shem Yahushua.
Right. Across the
four winds, and all those brothers you see out there doing that, their camps represent that altar, man, where they're sacrificing themselves for the Lord, man.
Hey, giving their time. When you come before a camp, what do? You sacrifice. When you choose to be a part of this thing, when you come before the camp, you're sacrificing your worldly life to become into your spiritual life, man.
Putting off the old man.
Putting off the old man to become a new man, the spiritual man.
Yeah, and you putting your body on. You putting your life on the line.
Yep.
Anything can happen to you out there,
Yep.
Straight up, man.
And you're gonna get tried, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the scripture say when you come to serve the Lord, prepare thyself for temptation.
That's right.
It says, and they that shall be of thee shall but build the old waste places.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt raise up the foundations of many generations.
Jake not being built up at these camps.
Yeah. The elect is getting built up, man.
In front with these camps, man.
Through the Spirit. Yep.
Yep.
They get sealed, man.
And the 2/3 is gonna die off, as most know. The 2/3 is gonna. You Christians don't know it though, but the 2/3 is gonna die off, and then they're gonna come back righteous, man.
Yep.
But how they gonna do that? The process of that is coming through the loins of the men that's doing it now. That's already made the transition now. They don't have to see it after death by pain. Yeah.
It says, and thou shalt be called the repairer of the breach,
mm-hmm.
the restorer of paths to dwell in.
That's right.
All right. And that's now your eyes see the teachers,
mm-hmm.
And they're the ones that's telling you to walk in this path, man. That's what you're seeing happening before you, man. The nation is being rebuilt through the word, through the Spirit now.
That's right.
All right. The Spirit of the Lord is what's dwelling in us. All right. And he's using us as vessels to push forth this word to gather all the Lord's chosen that are scattered throughout the four winds.
And this why the nation's mad, because they see we getting it back.
That's why they tripping. That's why they tripping, man. Because think about it, they see our temple flourishing, right?
Yeah.
Back in the ancient times, see our temple flourishing. First thing they want to come down, hey, it's like we were building a sandcastle, right? What you gonna do? The hater gonna come and kick it down.
Yeah.
That's what the heathen repeatedly did. When the Most High got pissed at us, he would let the heathen come in and kick our sandcastle down, man, our temple down. Well, now he's building it up where it can't be kicked down no more, you know, because it's inside the people, and they see it being raised up. And these like Jesusistheword and all these Stockholm syndrome and these Christians or whoever else, they want to just tear it all down. They don't want to see us rise up. They don't like it because they ain't a part of it. They see
can't be a part of our us, you know, basically building up the temple, man.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, in a worldly sense, to connect it with sports, it's like you got a team that was once good. They had superstars on it.
Mm-hmm.
Take it as a high school team. Everybody graduated, and everybody looks at that school as if they was the top school.
Yeah.
But once everybody graduated, it's like the school went down.
Yeah.
All the best players went down. But then you got a new generation of kids coming up where the same spirits that's reincarnated coming back. Right. And then you got the all-star team coming back.
Yep. That's Jake.
Yeah.
Yep.
And every team gonna hate you because they know you got the best players on the team. Yep. And you got the best players in the state or the world, I should say. You know?
Yep. I want to get some real quick.
You got it.
This is Ezra chapter 4, verse 1. Ezra.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going into the old temple. Right. Basically, after the Babylonians destroyed our first temple,
mm-hmm.
Cyrus, the king of Persia, he allowed us to go back and rebuild our temple.
That's in the Maccabees too. I mean, in the Apocrypha also. Right?
Yes, Ezra 4:1. It says, "Now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord God of Israel, mm-hmm. then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, Let us build with you, for we seek your God as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Ashur, mm-hmm. which brought us up hither. Mm-hmm. But Zerubbabel and Joshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel and said unto them, You have nothing to do with us to build an house to our God.
That's right.
But we ourselves together will build unto the Lord God of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, have commanded us.
I got some.
All right.
I was going to quote it.
And when we was in the process of building it, you always had these heathens that kept trying to wage war with us while we were in the process of building the temple. It got so bad to where we had to build with one hand while we had to hold swords in the other hand. Yeah. To fight off the heathens that was trying to prevent us from building the temple, man. You know? So now it's like the Lord he ain't dealing with temples made with hands at all now. Now his temple is spiritual now. And you Christians, you're trying to get into it and you're trying to bring everybody else with you. This has no concern for you, man. You're not a part of this. You can't get into this spiritual building, man. Okay?
I got
the heathen already got a temple made with them. They left outside of the temple, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Heathens are naturally profane. That's what it means to be profane. It means to be outside of the temple.
Yep.
Okay. So you have no parts with the temple, man. So them damn gutter rats over there, what the hell is you talking about? Jesus is the word.
Yep.
So you're saying that them devils over there, that's kosher and pigs, having new Pink City, our gay parades,
oral circumcision.
Yeah, you know, banging their head on that wall, the Wailing Wall, the wall of Shekinah. All right, that's not the Lord ain't dealing with that, man. All right,
that language ain't pure. Yiddish ain't pure. It's not a pure language.
Come on, man.
I got something real quick.
Sure.
Book of John, chapter 4, I'm going to start at verse 21. Yahushua said unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. Mm-hmm. Ye worship, you know not what.
Like you Christians, y'all don't know what you worship.
Hey, you got all types of heathen. Like this woman wasn't Jake, right? You got people worshiping that ain't even Israelites, man. Or call themselves worshiping the Messiah, you know, but they're not even Israelites.
And when they try to, they can't even do it right.
Right.
The heathens can never worship our God right.
That's right.
Even when you read about in Second Kings, when the Lord casted out the northern kingdom out of Samaria, and they brought in those heathens, those Babylonians, and the different heathen nations up into the land of Samaria. And they, they went over there and they was doing what they normally do, worshiping idols, being abominable. Yeah. And the Lord sent some lions to devour a lot of them. So they had to find a priest, of our nation to actually teach them how to keep our customs, so that they won't get destroyed in the land. All right. But when they got taught in the law by the priests, they started to carry our way, so to speak, but they still went on to worship their idols. They never left off from their idols, man. Yeah. Because the heathens they can't worship our God.
And the brothers read it out at the camp, right? What if Psalms 147?
What about showed his word unto Jacob?
And there's not dealt so in any other nation, man.
Yeah, man.
You can't keep it right because you ain't the people.
Yeah.
That's just a straight to the point way to say it. Let me finish this so we get to it. John chapter 4, verse 22, it says, "Ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship and the brothers showed who really got the word, man. Brothers clearly show who, especially here at Great Millstone in the Light Doctrine, the same doctrine, whoever other camps is within the proper doctrine, right? We show who is really the men of the Lord, man. These Christians ain't got it, man. You other guys ain't got it. Nope. Some of you other Israelite camps ain't got it. Yep. This is where it's at. It says, but the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth, for the Father seeketh such to worship him.
God, that's good. That's plain, man.
Yep.
All right, so let's get a few scriptures on the temple. 1 Corinthians 3. I think a brother already posted it up earlier. Yeah. Hey. God. 1 Corinthians 3:16. Yep. Brother GMS Kana Waf. He posted the scripture. Somebody, if you got it, you can get it.
Yeah, you can get the 6th chapter, bro. 19 and 20. It says, 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High God?
Know ye not that you are the temple of the Lord now?
And that the Spirit of God, or Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahshua, dwelleth in you?
Hey, the Spirit dwells with you. In you. Okay? We're the temple, man. We're the earthen vessels carrying these precious jewels, man. All right, it says, even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it seeth him not, for he shall dwell in you and be with you. That John 14 and 17. That's the reason why these Christians are having a hard time, man, because the Spirit of truth is not with them.
It's not dwelling in them.
It's not dwelling in them, man. They don't know the Spirit of truth.
Okay, I got it quick. Okay. St. John chapter 4, 14, verse 17. Even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it seeth him not, because it's spiritual, right? It says, neither knoweth him, but ye know him, for he dwelleth with you and shall be in you.
That's it, man. Yeah. They're talking about the Holy Spirit. Okay, that's why them guys, hey, man, hey, yeah, y'all didn't know what y'all was doing, man. Y'all had a lot of pride on y'all, but y'all was looking real bad out there, man. All right, the brothers were asking y'all certain questions that y'all did not have the answer to. You was unsure about certain things that you were saying. And the brothers was clowning like, hey, you're supposed to have an unction from the Lord. You know all things, right? You're supposed to know all things, right? Y'all come at us like as if you do.
Yep. Like,
yeah, when we go into these prophecies, yeah, y'all have a very hard time, man.
let me say it like this, bro, because it's funny because whoever opposes us is always with the same angle. All you scoffers do the same thing. You declare that it's not us, but you can't declare that we ain't got it, but you can't declare what it is, though.
Yeah.
You can tell us that we ain't got it, but you don't know what it is, though. But
Sure.
you can't break it down the right way.
Well, I'll give Jesus the word this. That he tried, you know, with that Daniel prophecy.
And hope it lined up. And he said, I might. Well, he said, I think I might. He was all.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I said I could be wrong. But, you know,
like if you could be wrong, there's no.
Why are you answering? Like the brother Marcus Locke said, why are you answering if you could probably be wrong?
Right.
If you don't have the answer,
you
why are you answering?
I begin to, like Paul said, I begin to speak boldly, make known the mysteries of the gospel. Right.
And the scriptures tell you in the apocrypha, profess not the knowledge that you don't have.
Not. Yep. So just shut the hell up, man. This ain't for you.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't got it, my man. You ain't got it. You fucked up.
That's it.
Let me read that. I gotta read the 17 verse. Back in Corinthians 3 and 17 said, if any man defile the temple of the Most High God, him shall the Most High God destroy, for the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are.
Come on, man.
He was talking to people.
Yep. So that's what the temple is now, man. The elect, the church.
Yep.
You ain't gonna have no bunch of gutter rats over there, and they got some little some type of map plan. You know what I'm saying? Like they got some type of blueprint.
Yeah.
How they gonna build it?
Yeah, they got the plans.
So there's a temple that's already over there, and that's not our temple. Okay. It was the residue of the old temple compiled with the reconstructed temple that Herod had started to build, man.
Yep.
That's all that is. The Lord he ain't in there. Got it. Okay. Go ahead.
This Acts 7:48. Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as saith the prophet.
Hey, because he took it away, man. Because the heathen kept coming there and defiling it and destroying it. Right?
Heaven is my throne and earth is my footstool. What house will ye build me, saith Yahweh? Or what is the place of my rest? Hath not my hand made all these things?
That's the point, man.
You got 1 Corinthians 6 chapter?
Okay. It's 1 Corinthians 6 and 19.
1 Peter 2:5.
Yeah.
What, know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit which is in you, which ye have of Yahweh, by Shem Yahushai, and ye are not your own, for ye are bought with a price. Therefore glorify Yahweh in your body and in your spirit, which are his.
And that price was he shed his blood, man. He purchased Israel with his blood. Okay, that's what he did. He purchased us with his blood. Okay. Now we're cleansed by the blood of Yahushua. He made us holy again. All right. That was good.
I got 1 Peter chapter 2. I'm gonna start verse 4. It says, to whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of the Most High God and precious. Right? It was built spiritually through Yahushua. It says, ye also as lively stones are built up a spiritual house and holy.
Spiritual house.
Not a physical house, but a spiritual house, and holy priesthood to offer up spiritual sacrifices. What? Through yourself, man. You offer up spiritual sacrifices through yourself by presenting your body as a living sacrifice, by giving up certain personal lusts and luxuries and things of the flesh. You know, it says to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to the Most High God by Yahushua Mashiach.
That's right.
Yeah.
You finished that at 5?
Yep.
So we're those lively stones that the Lord got us fitly framed together.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Each brick, you know, represents, you know, a part of the church.
Yep.
Okay.
Part of that temple. Part
and
of
that foundation being Yahweh Shai.
Like part of the body. That's where it ties to. If I may say, bro, that's where it ties into the body of Yahweh Shai. That's how when Yahweh Shai said that he will resurrect, lift up the body in 3 days, raise up the body in 3 days. He was talking about his own body, but he was also talking about the temple of the body of the church.
Yeah.
You know, and that ties into that as well. Yeah. The same stones for the body, for the temple, the same thing, man.
Yeah.
This is Ephesians 2:19. Mm-hmm. Now therefore ye are no more strangers and foreigners.
Talking about the Israelites.
Yeah.
But fellow citizens with the saints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of the household of Yahweh, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets.
Now who was he directly referring to? He was referring to those Hellenists from the time of the Greeks that's now coming back into to the Commonwealth of Israel.
That were of the elect.
That were of the elect, though. Right.
Yep.
And are built upon the foundations of the apostles and prophets, Yahweh Shai himself being the chief cornerstone,
mm-hmm.
in whom all the building fitly framed together groweth unto a holy temple in the Lord.
Yeah.
Hey, man. You know? Yeah.
In whom ye also are builded together for an habitation of Yahweh through the Spirit.
Because he dwells with us now. The Spirit, his Spirit dwells in the temple now.
Right.
All right. His habitation is his elect, man. That's why when you read further, when you read Revelation, it says that the tabernacle of the Most High is with men.
Yep.
Okay. Matter of fact, let's get that.
Yeah. That's also nice.
Revelation 21 and 3. You can start at 2 though.
You got it.
Somebody get it, whoever can get it.
21 and 3.
2.
21 2.
So you read 2 and 3.
Okay. Revelation chapter 21, verse 2. It says, "And I saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of the Most High God is with men."
Not no physical building.
Yep.
It's with men. Go ahead.
"And he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and the Most High God himself shall be with them and be their power."
Yeah,
Yep.
That's plain, man. All right. And you heathens, you have nothing to do with that temple.
Right.
All right. What's that in Revelation 11 where it says that in the court that is without the temple, leave it out, for it is given into the Gentiles.
Yeah.
Because you ain't got no place in the Lord's temple. You're profane. All right.
Yeah.
You ain't got nothing to do with this. Okay. "Hey, the heathen shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord." That's in the law.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna be keeping the laws in the kingdom, right? So it's still gonna be the same thing.
Yeah.
You're still not allowed to get into the temple, which really the temple now is us.
Yeah.
So the Lord made it to where you can't get into the temple.
Yeah, because Antiochus, when we read, he went right up in the temple with pride and began to destroy it. The time after the Babylonians did it,
he started to put his face up as the Most High in the temple, man.
Mm-hmm.
Calling himself Zeus, you know, and he was trying to make people worship him in our temple, man.
Yeah.
Never again. Y'all got any quick pre's? If not, we can close. We can wrap it up.
But that tied it in. We kind of breezed over 70 AD, but that was mirrored through Matthew 24 when Yahushua brought that up. And most scholars know that ties into that. But how did you know that? Matter of fact, can I give this right quick on that? How did Jesus the Word not even know that? You didn't even know that went to for 70 AD.
He said the abomination and desolation is talking about the Antichrist. Is that what he
said?
said?
The single Antichrist, the one Antichrist.
You really had no idea what you were talking about.
In a 3-year period in future prophecy.
Yeah.
With one Antichrist.
They're gonna stop the Jews over there in Israel right now from building. Come on, man.
Yep.
I already know other brothers are gonna get on it too, man.
Brothers is already on.
Brothers are probably already on it, man.
Brothers
Everybody heard you, man.
Yeah.
We all heard you. All right.
Let me get it. Yeah. This is in the Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary, page 15. Abomination of desolation, meaning the abomination that desolates or appalls. When Daniel in prophecy tried to describe an abomination so abhorrent and loathsome, right, to all moral and religious decency as to leave its abode desolate, he used this term. And he used that talking about the time of the Maccabees, the first chapter, right? And even into 70 AD, which is about to tie it in right now. It says, many scholars hold that Yahushai's prophecy that his followers would see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet standing in the holy place, Matthew 24:15, was fulfilled when Jerusalem was destroyed in the year 70 AD 70, same thing, man. That's what it says right here. So how did you even know that? At least if you'd have brought that up, what could we say? You got it partially right, But he didn't know that.
Nope. Yeah, man. And what them devils did, like the other temple, when the Romans actually besieged it, and they went in there and took out the holy precious things out of the temple. They took the gold and all that, and it was costly. They took that and they used it. When you read it in history, you do the research. They took it, and they ended up funding the creation, the building up of the Colosseum.
And they commemorated 70 AD with the Ark of Titus.
Yeah, I believe they built it was either the amphitheater or the Colosseum that they built, but they used the funds through the precious jewels and the things that were in our temple. So hey, the Lord, he now the temple is spiritual now.
Can't be touched, man.
Okay.
It's a treasure. In fact,
treasure is in heaven.
Yeah, could you bring that out? Matthew 6.
And we go close.
Yeah. Because it's gonna say it. It's gonna say it. 19 after that.
Yep. It's Matthew 6:19. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt.
Well, our temple was a treasure in previous times, but the heathen continued to go up in there and destroy it. Time after time, we rebuild it, they destroy it. Now, we'll keep going.
Where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal.
Right, because that's what they was doing. They was break through, stealing, and destroying our temple. Keep going.
But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven,
where it can't be touched. Like the same thing when it says earlier in that chapter, go ye in the closet, in the privacy. Well, they can't touch your prayers, but they can't touch your spirit, man. They can't touch the temple that's inside you. They can't touch that because it's spiritual now. It dwells within your spirit. It ain't about the flesh only, but the spirit is where it's dwelling. Go ahead, bro.
But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt.
Nobody can touch it in there, man. That's why the spirit of the prophets is subject unto the prophets. They still got the spirit dwelling in them all these times.
And we got the riches stored in us, which is his wisdom.
That's right.
That's what makes us rich now. We're rich in faith, and we're rich because we have the knowledge of the Lord.
That's right.
And that's stored where? Right in our spirit, man.
That's right.
You can't take that from us. You could kill the body, but you can't take that from out of our spirit.
That's the point. That's why I brought the spirit of the prophets into the prophets. We still got that knowledge in each generation.
Yeah.
Or regeneration, so to speak, right?
God,
That was it.
You know, so Lord willing, you brothers were edified. We give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Hey, Jesus is deterred.
Yep.
You through, bro. You're done.
Yep.
All right.
The mom.
All right. You finished, man.
Mhm.
You fucked up. All right.
Yep.
That's why we titled it. You fucked up, man.
Mhm.
Okay. And you said you're gonna try to come and see those brothers, next time. Well,
Yeah.
we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see, man.
Hope you watch these videos. That brother's about to flood you
better
before you
prepare yourself, man.
You about to get flooded
Yeah.
with brothers, man, getting on you.
Yeah,
You better learn from it and humble down and come back without all that pride, man.
Hey,
tell your boy K-Dub,
your boy K-Dub, he ain't gonna make it, man.
Nah, man.
He ain't gonna make it. He's too busy trying to serve you. He's trying to defend you.
That brother, man, prophesied unto that dude, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, he better get right, man, for real.
Sure,
get that pride off of him. You're gonna get destroyed.
Yeah. And so with that, we're gonna give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Give honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom.
Yeah, J-Man.